This clip, the United States Avengers meet with President Xi Jinping. Why did Donald Trump have to bring a whole squad of top CEOs, like the Avengers of the business world, 18 of them, to meet with Xi Jinping? What exactly do they want? Let me tell you, it all starts with this point. When it comes to war, the best way for it to end, without any more fighting, is when the people waging the war run out of money. And the most effective way to make Iran run out of money is to get China, which is Iran's biggest customer, to stop buying oil from them. Honestly, just saying that out loud sounds pretty much impossible. It's not likely to happen at all. But the fact is, this gives China a level of bargaining power on the global stage that even the United States doesn't have. And soon, these negotiations between China and America will make us pause and wonder, hey, is this war even real? Or is it like a Hollywood production, a joint venture between America and China? Because if these negotiations succeed, it'll be such a win-win for America and China, so much so that it's almost unbelievable. And if this deal goes through, let me tell you, the real winners will be China and America. But the ones who lose out are us. Us, you, me, all of us. You and me and people all over the world, because this will intentionally cause inflation, like they really mean to make it happen. So you might ask, if everyone knows that this deal will put us all in a situation of undeniable inflation, basically making us poorer, why would this deal even happen? There's democracy and there are votes. It shouldn't be that easy to pass. The reason it could happen is because the most important pressure right now is the energy crisis, which is pushing things to get signed and approved quickly. It's really not that hard. Let's go. Let's dive into this code. You can support the US Avenger vs. Xi Jinping video from Sin Money Monster channel by scanning this QR code, or you can easily support the Sin Money Monster channel as well. Feel free to like, share, or drop a comment to chat with us. Or if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button for us. Or if anyone's interested and wants to support us long-term, you can become a member of the Sin Money Monster channel. We'll have a welcome message for everyone who joins as a new member too. I want to express my sincere gratitude to you for all your help. The first question is, where does China stand in the world? The answer is that China is in a position of economic power strong enough to buy the best seat at the negotiating table when it comes to setting or restructuring the new global financial system. And this is one of the main reasons why US President Donald Trump had to bring along a whole entourage of CEOs, 18 top global CEOs, including Elon Musk from Tesla and SpaceX. SpaceX is super popular right now. Tim Cook from Apple, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, or Larry Fink from BlackRock. When you see this lineup, you just know. Yeah, that's it. This is basically the Avengers team, but made up of CEOs, the Avengers of planet Earth. Because this time, it's a gathering of the most influential leaders with a combined value that's absolutely massive. It's the biggest group ever taken abroad in US history. This isn't happening because China has already overtaken America as the world's top economy. It's not because China has the most money, but because China is now controlling what is truly real money and in greater amounts. That is, money that is useful, valuable, and actually generates real economic productivity. Not the kind of money that you can just print as much as you want. Right now, the thing China controls the most in the world is energy. At this point, some people might wonder, what does it mean that China controls energy? Does it mean the flow of energy that has to pass through Hormuz to the rest of the world? Is it that 20% of the world's energy? Because if we're talking about the flow of that 20% of energy from Hormuz, shouldn't it be Iran that holds this position? Because Hormuz is right next to Iran, right? So it gets confusing. Why is it China then? Here's the reason. Okay, it's true that Iran is right at the Strait of Hormuz. Right now, Iran is closing off the Strait of Hormuz, right? And while closing the Strait of Hormuz does cause severe hardship around the world, it doesn't generate any income. Iran still needs to eat and live just like anyone else. Iran needs money. And the country that can give Iran the most money right now is China, because China is Iran's biggest customer for oil. That means if China suddenly decides to stop buying oil from Iran, Iran would be in trouble right away. They would immediately lose a huge source of income. And when Iran loses that income, it means they won't have the money to close off the Strait of Hormuz. So if you ask who really controls the flow of energy, it's China. And whoever has the power to control energy, the flow of energy, that person also has the power to control the direction and flow of money in the world. And if someone says, honestly, if you look at the stock market, it seems like the Strait of Hormuz will probably reopen soon. There have been reports saying, yeah, it's going to reopen soon, something like that. If it's really going to reopen, then why are major countries like Japan and Australia announcing the use of their emergency oil reserves? And it's not just a normal release of emergency reserves either. For example, Japan is releasing the largest amount of emergency oil reserves in its history. And if, for example, the Strait of Hormuz remains completely blocked for a prolonged period of time, it will significantly intensify the pressure in the energy crisis. This pressure from the energy crisis will act like a tailwind, further strengthening and enhancing China's leverage in negotiations. And with all this pressure from the energy crisis and everything, what does China want? What China wants comes down to just 3 or 4 things, and every single one of them is a big deal. But let me put that aside for now. I'll tell you about it in a bit. For now, let's take a look at where the pressure from the current energy crisis stands. All right, let's start here. Bloomberg reported that the world's oil reserves will reach a level of operational stress, that is, a point where managing oil supplies becomes tense, around June, which is this month, right? As for the minimum oil level necessary for pipeline operations and refining, that's expected to run out around September to June? August, September. Okay. And then there's this person, Jeff Currie, the former head of commodities at Goldman Sachs, who said on Bloomberg that some parts of Europe and Asia are already experiencing shortages. Jeff Currie said that right now, we're not just facing a shortage, but actually a deficit, an energy deficit. The demand is much higher than the supply of oil, and when countries tap into their emergency oil reserves, it's basically using up future energy now. As for the United States, if you're asking when the crisis will hit, it's expected to be around July. It's really not that far off. Even the CEOs of Chevron, ConocoPhillips, and Saudi Aramco have come out to give interviews. Everyone is expressing concern about the oil supply. So all of this adds up to some pretty intense pressure from the energy crisis. But let me just put a pin in that for now so you can see just how serious this pressure really is. At this point, some people listening might start to wonder, like, wait, is China really at that much of an advantage? Would China really not be affected at all if the Strait of Hormuz were closed? Okay, let's put it this way. If explaining it through context doesn't quite answer the question, why don't we let the graph tell the story? Graphs don't usually lie. The first graph I'm going to show you is the yuan to US dollar exchange rate graph. You'll see that the yuan is the strongest it's been against the US dollar in the past 3 years. Honestly, this shouldn't be happening at all, right? Especially in a war that everyone thinks was designed to put pressure on China. And another graph is the bond yield, the government bond yields of each country. Let's review a bit. Remember that with bond yields, a country's government has to pay higher interest on its bonds if its credibility goes down. But the government can pay lower interest on its government bonds if its credibility increases. Okay, got it? Now let's take a look at this graph. This graph shows that the bond yields of major countries around the world are all going up, which means their credibility is decreasing. There's only one line, the blue one, that's going down, and that's the bond yield of China's government bonds. And this really has a direct impact on doing business within the country, because when government bond yields go up, all other interest rates go up too. That means the cost of doing business, the cost of borrowing for countries where bond yields are surging is also increasing. Only the cost of doing business and the cost of borrowing has decreased in just one country, China. So if we carefully analyze and thoroughly summarize the data and information presented here in this graph, it could potentially suggest that, hey, maybe China really is not being significantly impacted by this entire situation. Now, let's go back to the negotiations between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. This time, Trump brought his whole Avengers team to meet Xi Jinping. What exactly were they negotiating? Let's start with the proposals that were openly put on the table. There was a $1 trillion deal where China said it would bring $1 trillion to invest in the United States. Wait, what? Bloomberg and the New York Times both reported that Xi Jinping is considering a $1 trillion investment deal in the US. Okay, that's confusing, but let me continue. Most of that money would go toward building factories, supply chains, and industrial infrastructure. It sounds like, why is China being so nice to America? America brought a whole team to meet with China, but China said, hey, we'll give money to America. Yeah, isn't that confusing? So with this deal, you could say Donald Trump probably left China grinning from ear to ear because when he got home, he could brag like, how about that? I got a $1 trillion deal from Xi. And as we were reading the news up to this point, we started wondering why did China have to offer such a good deal to the US? Seriously, I just couldn't stop being curious about this. Really? Because first of all, what is it? The US haven't even asked for it yet. Secondly, the truth is this deal was actually proposed by China to the US way back in October 1982. China was the one who offered this deal during negotiations in Madrid. China submitted this proposal to Scott Bessent, the US Secretary of the Treasury, from the very beginning at that time. And like I said, I have to stop myself from wanting to know because believe me, that $1 trillion is definitely not charity. $1 trillion is that is a massive amount of investment money. So the crucial next step we need to figure out is this. Exactly what kind of long-term financial returns does China expect to make from that $1 trillion? US dollars? Okay, now let's look for the answer in the things that are hidden in the negotiations. So the conclusion we can draw is that what China wants first is market access. China wants to access the market of the United States because, to be honest, the US market is the largest consumer market in the world. And China is an exporter. Why wouldn't they want to sell to the market with the highest purchasing power in the world, right? So what China is asking from the US this time is for the US to lift all national security restrictions against China and also asking the US to lift the tariffs on China as well. Basically, everything Donald Trump has done over the past years would just become meaningless, right? The second thing China wants is financial legitimacy. China is asking for a seat at the negotiating table when the financial system is about to be restructured, when it's being rebuilt from scratch. And the third point is that China wants the United States to increase the value of gold. This one is, I have to say, this is an absolutely brilliant and strategic move because if this specific negotiation point succeeds, if America finally agrees to let the dollar weaken against gold, the massive gold reserves that China has been so aggressively stockpiling for years will experience a massive surge in their overall market value. They could rise so significantly that the $1 trillion in debt might just break even in terms of purchasing power altogether. Just like that, without having to pay anything extra. And here, I want everyone to take note of the fact that what China is demanding is for the dollar to weaken, but specifically to weaken against gold, without touching the yuan at all. Why is that? Let me explain. This is something China learned from what happened to Japan during the Plaza Accord in 1985. Back then, President Reagan's administration held a secret meeting at the Plaza Hotel in New York, inviting France, West Germany, Japan, and the UK to make an agreement to intervene in the currency markets to weaken the dollar, especially against the yen. You might ask, if this was part of the agreement from the start, why did Japan accept it? Because what happened after that, following currency market intervention, the Japanese yen appreciated significantly. When the yen doubled in value, it strengthened compared to the dollar. This caused Japanese exports to become twice as expensive, which shocked Japan's export sector. Was America really booming at that time? Absolutely. The US budget deficit actually improved because exports were flowing like crazy. Just by staying put, American goods became cheaper because the dollar weakened. So why did Japan agree to this? Japan agreed because at that time, Japan also got some kind of deal out of it. Basically, the US offered Japan a deal to let them set up factories to manufacture and sell directly in the United States. That's why you started seeing Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and so on showing up like that to set up factories in the United States, right? Just like what China is asking for now. China says they'll invest $1 trillion and set up factories in the US exactly the same way. But what's different is that back then, Japan paid, the dollar fell versus the yen, China's pegging the dollar to gold, ignoring the yuan, the dollar's weak against gold, they won't touch the yuan. So back then, Japan, it was terrible. Their exports plummeted, and Japan tried reviving the economy by injecting liquidity, triggering the bubble and real estate crises, the stock market bubble, and then it all burst. The price Japan had to pay for that wrong decision is what we now call the lost decade. Actually, it's been 30 years lost for Japan. Japan still hasn't been able to climb out of that hole. So what China is negotiating with the United States right now might end up being called the Plaza Accord 2.0, an evolved version. This time, they won't touch the yuan, but instead will ask to make the US dollar weaker compared to gold instead. And if you ask what would happen if the US government increases the value of gold, what would that be like? Let's start with the United States. According to public figures, what they have published is that they have 8,000 tons of gold in their reserves. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But the gold of the United States, you see, is recorded in the accounts, priced at $42 per ounce, which is a rate fixed in 1973, even though today's market price actually exceeds $2,300 per ounce. So if America has a massive 8,000 metric tons of official gold, 1,000 tons for real, and if you value that gold at today's price, it means the United States is sitting on a balance sheet that's way below the actual value. And as for China, China also has a lot of gold reserves. The public numbers right now, I think, don't really show reality. China's buying gold massively. Their total is unknown, but we just know it's a lot. And if the price of gold were to be truly adjusted, it would mean that the value of China's gold reserves would also skyrocket massively. And just now, when I mentioned that this could be a negotiation similar to a Plaza Accord 2.0, it means that what will happen will look pretty much like this. So first, the US dollar will depreciate compared to gold. Second, it won't destroy China's economy the way it did to Japan back then, because at that time, it was a depreciation against the yen. But this time, China won't let anyone touch the yuan. Third, the United States might adjust the price of gold to match the market price. Fourth, if the price of gold in the US reserves equals the market price, the US balance sheet will skyrocket. And fifth, it will reduce the debt burden of the United States, which right now looks like, wow, how are they ever going to pay it off? It would immediately look much easier. And sixth, yes, and the gold reserves in China's vaults would also skyrocket in value. This would lead to the seventh point, which is, yes, and China would become immensely richer without even having to touch the yuan. Now, looking at this point, you might ask, well, would other countries with gold reserves get richer? Yes, everyone holding gold would get richer. If you have gold, you would get richer too. But if this deal succeeds, what would actually happen next? It would be a disaster for people all over the world. That's because if the US dollar weakens compared to gold on purpose, that means inflation will intentionally rise as well. It will go up deliberately too. And if inflation keeps rising a lot, then the good thing about it is that it will erode the value of debt, making it decrease. For example, let's look at some numbers. Suppose right now the official inflation rate in the United States is at 3.8%, right? But if this deal succeeds and inflation were to increase by about double, going up to 7.2% per year, that 7.2% figure, according to the rule of 72, would mean that the debt borrowed today in 10 years its value would be reduced by half just from inflation. So if you ask whether, does this benefit America? Yes. Does this benefit China? Yes, too. So it makes us wonder, is this Iran war that supposedly started because of America actually a Hollywood co-production between America and China? Started by America, but the longer it goes on, the more China benefits by gaining power in negotiations. Basically, this deal is a win-win for both sides. America and China win, but the losers are those shouldering the inflation burden. And then you might ask, so what if everyone sees through this game? If it passes, inflation will spike and everyone's affected. Who'd let that happen? Because in a democracy, there are votes and laws. It only happens if everyone is afraid. And what everyone's truly afraid of right now is the energy crisis. It's extremely intense. This is what I was talking about earlier. The pressure from the energy crisis that I mentioned before, it's really strong now. And this pressure is going to become a perfect excuse for the country's political leadership to use as a reason to push for structural changes or anything else to happen faster. So if we know this kind of information, so what can we do? Nothing, really. It's up to the superpowers now. If their actions cause inflation, we just have to accept it. That's the reality. And we switch sides to be on the same side as those who benefit from it. And switching sides isn't hard. It's not like you have to say, hey, I'm on this side and raise your hand. No, it's not like that. It's about putting our assets on the same side as those who benefit from the situation that's happening in the world. So if there's a possibility that inflation will occur in the world intentionally like this, what we need is anything that is an asset that can beat inflation, not cash, that the government can print as much as they want. So honestly, right now, whatever assets you like that can beat inflation, whether it's a good stock that you pick yourself, or it could be Bitcoin or even Pokemon cards, whatever you're comfortable with. Because if you hold assets that beat inflation, you'll get richer when inflation spikes. But in the end, I suppose, still have to disclaim that everything I said so far is information and these are just possibilities. The deal could fail. Rising gold prices might not even happen. By the time I release this clip, Hormuz could be open, or by tomorrow, Hormuz opens and the war will be over. Everything could go back to being peaceful like before. That's possible too. So the information we're sharing in this clip is just to say that if these unfortunate events actually do happen, where exactly should we look to diversify our risks so that we can continue to keep living well and maintain our standard of life? When you think about it, that is pretty much all there is to it.